Hey guys, so today I'm here with the Barricade Trail Force HD front bumper fitting all 1987 to 2006 YJ and TJ Wranglers. So adding a front bumper to your Wrangler can add a number of different benefits, including utility as well as protection and strength, and also the overall aesthetics of the front end of your Jeep. So this Barricade front bumper is going to do just that. It's going to provide some utility with some recovery points and light mounting options, as well as a winch plate. It's going to provide that full front end protection with uncompromised approach angles because of these higher ends, as well as this bull bar up front that's going to provide you some more protection than the factory front bumper or some other options even on the site will allow. And then you're getting an overall aesthetic upgrade. So this is going to match very well with the front end of your Wrangler. This is also going to do a great job at creating a more aggressive look than your factory front bumper setup. So with all that being said, this is also going to be very affordable at roughly $300, and in my personal opinion, I think that's a great price for what you're getting out of this front bumper. So in comparison to some other options, you're usually going to see a couple of different styles when it comes to designs for front bumpers on the page. So you're going to see usually tubular front bumpers. You may see something like this that is a mid-width front bumper, but is also going to have some different bells and whistles. They may have lights, or instead of a bull bar, they may have a stinger. But it will come down to your personal preference in what you're looking to get out of your front bumper. And in my personal opinion, I think this is perfect for somebody who's looking for something very affordable, but also wants all of those standard and necessary benefits out of an aftermarket front bumper and doesn't need all of those bells and whistles. Overall, this is going to look very sleek mounted up to the front end of your Wrangler, and it's going to provide you a ton of benefits while doing so. So install is going to be a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It should probably take you about an hour to get the job done with some very basic hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. Tools that I used for my install were an impact wrench, an open-ended 19mm wrench, a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, a 10mm deep socket, and a 19mm shallow socket. So our first step to taking off our factory front bumper is going to be to remove our sway bar cover. Now you're going to need a 10mm socket, and we're going to remove the 2 bolts on either side that are holding the cover on. So after the 2 bolts on the front are removed, there are going to be 2 on the back, so you can remove those with the same 10mm socket. After those 4 bolts are removed, we can peel up our sway bar and link cover. So after our sway bar cover is off, we need to remove the 2 bolts on the top and the 1 bolt on the bottom of either side of our front bumper. Now our hardware was replaced, so I'm going to be using a 19mm socket. However, these should be T55 Torx. So after the 2 on top are removed, we can remove the 1 on the bottom. Then same thing for the other side. After that last bolt is removed, we can remove the whole front bumper. So before we go ahead and install our new Barricade Trail Force HD front bumper, I did want to sit it next to the factory front bumper and tell you guys a little bit more information about this. So right off the bat, you can tell that this is going to look a lot different than the factory setup. As you can tell, the factory setup is pretty plain, and when switching over to this new front bumper, it's going to allow for a more aggressive look on the front end of your Wrangler. Now, it's not only going to look more aggressive, it's also going to be a lot more functional than the factory setup. So you're getting 2 welded D-ring mounts on the front, perfect for recovery. You're getting a standard winch plate capable of holding a winch with up to a 12,000 pound pulling capacity, and you do have a large bull bar in the front that's going to give you some grill protection. Now on top of that bull bar, you're also getting 2 light mounting tabs, and that's perfect to mount up any extra accessories or any auxiliary lighting. Now the one thing that I do really like about this is that it is completely different than the factory setup. You're getting a angled up end, which is going to allow better approach angles off-road, off-road, and it's also going to allow a larger wheel and tire. Now with this, you could take off the plastic end caps, but you're getting a fully capable front bumper right here that is also going to be a lot stronger than the factory setup. So this is going to be made of a 5/32 inch steel, which is going to be a little bit thicker than the factory steel, and it's going to do a lot better at protecting the front end of your Wrangler than your factory front bumper would. Now it's also going to have a textured black powder coat finish, and that's just going to add to the aggressive look that you're getting out of this front bumper, but it's also going to do a great job at protecting the steel underneath from any rust or corrosion. So enough about these two front bumpers side by side, let's go mount up our new one. So what we can do is grab our bumper and mount it up onto our frame. It's going to attach in the same spots that our factory front bumper did. So after the bumper is sitting on the frame and all of the holes are basically lined up, what we can do is take our provided hardware and our flat washer, and we can start with the bottom and secure it underneath on the frame. Now you want to make sure that you're threading everything in before we tighten it down. So after that's threaded in all the way, what we can do is move up to the top two mounting points. All right, so now we can thread in our hardware on the other side. So after the hardware is in on the other side, what we can do is tighten everything down. I'm going to be using a 19mm socket and a ratchet. So after the two on the top are tightened down, we can move to our bottom bolt. I'm still using that same 19mm socket. Then after that's tightened down, we can do the same thing on the other side, and then we can attach our D-rings. So I did have to use a wrench to get it down a little bit where I could fit my socket into place. And then we can just keep tightening it up with a 19mm socket. So last but not least, we can attach our D-rings by unthreading the pin and then threading it back in. That's going to wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.